Hello everyone, very good morning. My name is Kuldeep Bhardwaj, and in this today's webinar, we are going to discuss about VMware Cloud Foundation overview. So if in future you have any query, you are feel free to write us on nextgencf@gmail.com. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe this channel for more interesting videos in related to information technologies, primarily around VMware Cloud Foundation and hybrid cloud stack. All right, so let's jump ahead and see what is the agenda for today's discussion. What all things we are going to cover in next 45 minutes to 1 hour. The primary thing we'll see what are the key challenges for adopting the cloud. Then we'll see overview and advantage of VMware Cloud stack kind of VMware Cloud Foundation, maybe at on-prem, public cloud, edge, or remote locations. Then we'll see the VMware Cloud Foundation deployment architecture, the way we can deploy the VMware Cloud Foundation, then deployment steps in detail. Yeah, going through some of the simulated demo altogether. Then the post deployment validation tasks, what all things we need to be taken care once the deployment will get completed. Then we'll see the SDDC manager console, how will perform the daily operations in VMware Cloud Foundation, VMware Cloud Foundation lifecycle management, and the brief overview of VMware Cloud Foundation troubleshooting. All right, let's get started. So when we say the challenges with adopting the cloud, or when you are doing the cloud adoption, whether it is private cloud or public cloud, okay? So the very first thing is customers are looking for the modernizing their applications, okay? So when the customer think of modernizing their application, they'll go from monolithic to micro applications structure. Okay, so that's pretty much sophisticated, and there's number of application requirement that's probably will not be fulfilled with your new cloud adoption model. Slow, when we say the slow, it means that when we are planning the cloud adoption, any kind of cloud adoption, maybe private cloud or public cloud, it's always take longer time. Your planning, your transformation, the whole journey around, like it's pretty slow. In when we say inefficient, unplanned downtime, like when we are moving the transformation, DC transformation, my application transformation, my VMs transformation from one place to another place, it's always take time, and sometime you have to face the downtime structure as well. Non-compliant, when you say lacking of security, visibility, and governance, while you are adopting any cloud platform, it couldn't be a same level of security, same level of visibility of application and the governance that you are performing within your on premises data center. The cloud choice, too many vendors are available in the market. That's not a really strategy. Our customers around a lot of confusion, right? Siloed team, when we say siloed team, like a team who is working as on-prem, maybe some another team who is taking care of public cloud, maybe some another team for private cloud. Siloed, when we say siloed, the different set of people, we required a lot of people for managing the entire infrastructure for all. So what is the VMware vision? What VMware brings for you? Okay, so VMware brings for you a unified platform, a unified stack that you can use on public cloud, private cloud, public cloud, or remote access location. What they have tried to make you a consistent infrastructure and the consistent operation across the different places. When I say places, again, it could be private cloud, public cloud, or a edge location. That's a common platform for your VMs, for your container, for the management and the kind of operations and automation that you are going to perform in the environment. You don't need to adopt the different public cloud platform, maybe the different private cloud platform. That's the VMware goal. That's the VMware vision to give you a consistency in your operation, consistency in your security. Doesn't matter where you are residing. You are residing at on-prem, you are residing at kind of private environment, or maybe kind of an remote location, edge location. So what VMware brings for you? VMware brings for you the VMware Cloud Foundation, that we refer as, sometimes you will hear this as a kind of short form, VCF. It's a fully integrated cloud platform that's bringing you the software-defined services. When we say the software-defined services, it's your compute, vSphere, storage, the vSAN, along with vSAN, another choice of storage as well, networking and security, and the cloud management stack. When we say the cloud management stack, primarily we talk about kind of the ARIA suite that we'll be talking in upcoming slides. So you could see in the right here, I have my compute, I have storage, I have network. So these are the cloud management. So these are pretty much bundles together and just take a very much lesser time as compared to you deploy kind of the discrete infrastructure that's provide you the automated lifecycle management, the intrinsic security available with the with your vSphere, with your storage, with your network stack. So it's an automated deployment, it's an automated life cycle and support for traditional and the new workload. When you say traditional, it's kind of your VM, new kind of workload, your container when you're planning for modernizing the application. Enable the path of hybrid cloud. When you say the hybrid cloud, it's enable your path to journey to move the workload from on-prem to kind of any public cloud adoption, where also you can deploy kind of your VCF environment together, all public cloud kind of Azure, AWS, Google, or another types of cloud you're talking about here. So it's VMware. It's your cloud foundation stack across all the places, your public cloud, your edge, your DC. End of the day, this is your VMware cloud foundation is stack altogether. So it's your choice. You want to move or you want to migrate any kind of load here to there to any place to any place, any place to any place. That's make you easiness, because after all you are getting the consistent operation, consistency infrastructure. You don't need to reskill your people, you don't need to re-architect your application. Okay? And it's pretty much flexibility of moving the workload from here to there. Well, when we say the software, the key software building block that we have discussed in previously, the compute side, it is my VMware vSphere. Storage side, primarily my vSAN. As I said, it's not only vSAN. You can use another storage type also. Network and security section, we have NSX, the management. We have the realized shoot, the number of components. Now this is referred as ARIA shoot. Okay. Right, what you can run? You can run any kind of VDI workload. You can run any kind of modern application platform, kind of TKG or Tanzu Kubernetes. And traditionally, you can run your simplified kind of your virtual machines. You can run your DB. It's not stopping you to run any kind of workload that VMware supported. When we say the software building block, software bill of material, the software bill of material is primarily that we refer as BOM as well. So it's just matter like what kind of VCF platform you are adopting. The VCFs comes with the different versions, different flavors. So here it's a pre-validated, pre-standardized stack that you will be getting, and you'll be getting the information from VMware itself. Like the Cloud Builder VMs primarily used for deploying the VCF stack, SDDC Manager 5.0, vCenter Server Appliance, ESXi, vSAN, what all the supported version, these are bundled with each other. You don't need to be worried about that for selecting the different kind of the version for the from the suite that you're going to deploy in your cloud foundation environment. All right, the key terminology that we talk much more about these kind of servers and hosts. These are primarily your vSphere host that you are going to build. You have to prepare your ESXi host, Cloud Builder VM. That's going to help you for building the VCF environment, the day zero build of VMware Cloud Foundation stack altogether. The primarily it will create the management domain for you. For that you require deployment parameter sheet that you are going to insert inside the Cloud Builder appliance, that is further going to build a VCF environment again for your management domain. Primarily under the management domain, we are primarily going to build your vSphere environment, your storage environment, that is my vSAN, and your NSX environment. That's are the key mandatory components that's going to be built under the management domain. Well, the bring up process define how you are going to build the day zero. The network pool are primarily mandatory component, like what kind of network segments we have to use for vSAN network, for vMotion, for management, all these steps to be covered under the management pool. The workload domain are primarily, we are going to discuss much in the upcoming slides. The workload domains are primarily the two types of domain we normally create: management and the VI workload domain, where we refer as management domain just to hosting the all the management component, and workload domain primarily for hosting the workload virtual machines. SOS tool that's inbuilt in my SDDC manager, that we refer as support and serviceability, that's primarily help us for the level of troubleshooting, and just to identify the overall health status of my VMware Cloud Foundation stack. Moving forward, the key role of SDDC manager is primarily taking care of, once it will deploy, you can access it through the API or through the web server. What it will take care of, the common services kind of network pool, identity, just to adding the identity resource, credential store, appliance management, that's all being taken care by the by kind of common service. UI interface you can get, domain manager, entire life cycle manager, activity operation management, and support, serviceability, and kind of supportability and serviceability tool within this. Pantheon is primarily for kind of the health check for your all the VCF environment. How you can access it? You can access it through UI, through API. Deploy and configure your kind of all the workload domain. When I say the once my management domain will get deployed, SDDC manager will be further responsible for any kind of scalability, for any kind of new workload domain creation, any kind of new cluster creation within the workload domains. That kind of day two operations, when we say the day two operations, kind of lifecycle management activity, any cluster scalability, that all being taken care by your SDDC manager, which is the primary component of your VCF stack from management perspective. Well, when we say the VMware Cloud Foundation topology perspective, we typically say a cloud foundation could be deployed a single site deployment, or could be a multi-site deployment. When we say the single site deployment, within single site deployment we can have uh, multiple uh, multiple VCF instances within single site. Like within STDC manager, there could be a management domain, there could be a workload domain. Within single site we can deploy where we want a protection of our kind of workload, that we can stretch any of the cluster that is hosted for management domain, or maybe for the workload domain. We'll talk much on management domain, workload domain upcoming slide. Don't worry about that. So it could be stretch from the protection perspective, where we make the stretch cluster environment where we are assuming a site will go failure, my workload will be restarted on another site or another availability zone. All right, the key component, like we talked about vSphere, most of the guys are pretty much familiar. We are going to the ESXi hypervisor and the vCenter, which is taking care of all kind of vSphere management activity, and the PSC is primarily for using kind of licensing service, certificate authority, that's typically taken care by the PSO itself. From a storage perspective, the primary storage would be the vSAN. However, as I said, we can connect the secondary storage as well, kind of SAN, kind of NFS. So vSAN primary storage for my management domain. What is in the vSAN? It is integrated with the hypervisor, and further it will be managed by your vSphere client. We can apply storage policy, the stretch cluster, all flash or hybrid array. It support data at rest encryption and the native health services. This vSAN is again the mandatory component, especially for when we talk about management domain. However, we can add the secondary storage within my management domain, and also any workload domain cluster we are using, we can use kind of vSAN or the third and most mandatory component is NSX, which is providing me the software defined networking capability. So this high level architecture is showing the NSX manager and the controller plane. The manager plane primarily is talking about the vCenter, whatever an end user working, he will be instructing over the management plane. Then the further services kind of all these structure support with my kind of not only the private cloud environment. Yes, the it is supported with the kind of any cloud foundation which is hosted on AWS, Azure, or kind of IBM. It support the kind of workload. NSX support all kind of workload, kind of your VM, or maybe or maybe your traditional environment, or VM, kind of creating the VM, or the environment where you are creating the containers, that all being supported all together. Okay. And it's not limited, again, as I said, it's not limited to only for on-prem environment. Yes, the NSX excuse me, the NSX is supported for the kind of another cloud providers too. When we say the VCF licensing mode, the pretty interesting thing, we can adopt the VCF in perpetual license or the subscription based license. So when we select the VCF subscription based license, I put it yes here, so I don't need to mark it any of the component key here altogether. Reason is being, we are using the subscription based license of the vSphere. But if I will mark no here, it means that I have to fill all the perpetual licenses. Perpetual license, that the key which I purchased from the VMware, I'm putting here to use in my VCF stack. But when I say the VCF kind of subscription based model, it's a kind of, we refer as VCF plus as well. My all the software licenses will be registered online on the VMware cloud portal. Okay, moving next, let's talk a little bit more about the cloud foundation, a subscription based offering for your VMware cloud foundation, where all my licenses will be available in a software portal. That's my VMware cloud console. And yes, you can see the all details and all the consumption of your licenses from the VCF plus, that's we refer as the VMware cloud console as well. So what are the deployment type of model for my VMware Cloud Foundation? A VMware Cloud Foundation could be deploy kind of the consolidated architecture. When I say consolidated architecture, there would be a single cluster, single management cluster. I would refer that management cluster, where we can run all my management VMs and all my workload VMs together within a single cluster. But when I say the standard architecture, will be always referring as there should be a separate management cluster that we refer as management domain, management cluster, and a separate cluster for my workload, for my compute workload, where I refer as VI workload domain. Under a VI workload domain, we can create the multiple clusters. However, we could create the number of workload domains that we are going to discuss in upcoming slides. So initially, if a customer just want to do a kind of R&D or some testing for their dev test environment, they can refer for consolidated design. Later on, they want to adopt in the on more scale for your VMware Cloud Foundation, he can move to the standard design, and yeah, it can move the VM which are running in the management domain to the other workload domain cluster. Well, in consolidated architecture, as I said, all my management component, kind of SDDC manager, vCenter, NSX manager, and the edge node, and like you could see, this is my vRealize shoot. All my vRealize shoot is a kind of optional that will be hosted within management domain, and also my workload VMs would be hosted within a single management domain. So a management domain cluster, bear with the minimum with 4 hosts, 4 servers, but yeah, it can support up to the max limit of my vSphere version, and the vSphere that is 64 by default. Okay. When we say standard architecture, within the standard architecture, a management domain would be separate, where all my management component, all my vRealize shoot component, and my workload will be hosted separately on different workload domain. Like for an example, here is a VI workload domain. For this VI workload domain, my vCenter server and my NSX will be hosted in my management domain, and also the vCenter. Yes, but the edge node will be hosted locally within the workload domain. Let us suppose I do create one more workload domain. Within this workload domain, a new vCenter will be created, and if you want to leverage the NSX for existing workload domain, it can leverage. However, the edge node will be created separately. Yes, that's the different way of architecture. You can make separate vCenter construct, separate NSX construct for each workload domain altogether. However, there is another way, like in this example, it's using the common NSX. A common NSX could be used for all the workload domain too. But yes, it's mandatory for each workload domain. A separate vCenter will get created. Well, how many workload domain we can create? We can create total 15 workload domain. Out of 15, one is my management, plus 14 the new VI workload domain. When we say VI workload domain, where you are running your VMs and your workload. But yes, additionally plus 10 you can create with the separate SSO. Separate SSO, when we say the separate single sign-on domain, plus 10 workload domain. But within a within a common or single sign-on domain, you can create 1 plus 14. That's total. One is management domain and 14 separate workload domain altogether, plus 10 with another SSO. That's what is the configuration you can adopt the VCF. Moving next, like as I said, when we always deploy the management domain, I hope you are clear the architecture for management domain. This is my management domain. What would be there? vSAN would be primary storage, all my component SDDC manager, vCenter, NSX manager, edge, and where my ARIA shoot, or when we refer as realize shoot. Now it sits ARIA now, so ARIA shoot is optional altogether. But yes, these are the component of your management domain altogether. Okay. So whatever new workload domain we are creating, a separate vCenter, separate NSX, separate vCenter, separate NSX will get created. However, those will be hosted within my management domain. Okay, so let's see more about how it's look like. Like for example, if we are using some HCI kind of, we are adopting the VxRail kind of stuff altogether. So a management domain will have its own NSX construct, but if we are creating a new workload domain, there would be a new vCenter and new NSX manager will get created altogether. Yeah, that's what we have discussed right away. What would be there? The new architecture with ARIA. Again, the ARIA shoot is optional for us whether we want to adopt it or not. Okay, a new workload domain we are creating, there would be again separate vCenter, separate NSX manager. Okay, so what is the VMware validated solution? The VMware validated solutions are defining us whatever component we are going to deploy in the entire VCF stack, how that will be designed, how that will be communicating with the another components. That's all being defined. All is my VMware validated solution. Primary, it's my design, how I should design vSAN, how I should design my vSphere, how I should design my NSX, how I should design my ARIA suite, the blah blah components. That's all being the part of VMware validated solution. If you will go through with the VCF release notes, you will find there, like within the release notes, for each of the component there is separate design document. That design document is actually my VMware validated solution. That's actually telling you how it's going to be designed, how it will be integrated with another component, how this particular component is going to be deployed within my VCF stack. That's all being covered in the validated design. Next, we're talking about the VMware Cloud Builder. Very interesting thing. Whenever you are going to building up and setting up your VCF environment, Cloud Builder play an important role. What is this Cloud Builder? This Cloud Builder is a simple appliance that you have to build in advance within your environment, where you will just import the Excel file that we refer as cloud deployment parameter sheet to. What it's going to do for you, just by leveraging these ESXi host, it's going to build a VCF management domain for you. Within this management domain, what component, as I said, it's deploying the vSphere, it's deploying your vCenter, it's deploying your SDDC manager, it's deploying your NSXT, especially the manager and controller part, not the edge. That's all being taken care. the day zero deployment by this cloud builder appliance. Where it should be deployed? It should be deployed somewhere outside of your stack, but definitely it should talk to the management network, over the management network to your ESXi host. That's all the responsibility of the cloud builder. Once it will deploy, so there's no task. What I say, once it will deploy the management domain, no task of your cloud builder applies. That later on you can delete or shut down this VM altogether. Okay. Well, what we have to do, the key phases for the day zero deployment, plan and preparation. Okay. Plan and preparation workbook that you have filled your customer. This planning and preparation workbook is an Excel sheet that you have to download from the VMware site again, where you have planned initially plan for your names, IP address, services, AD integration, cluster type. It's a kind of standalone or stretch, whatever. Okay. Then deploy the cloud builder, complete the deployment parameter sheet, push the deployment parameter sheet cloud builder, create your management domain host like the management. First you have to making the basic minimum configuration of the ESXi host, then cloud builder make the management cluster, then yes, imaging your ESXi host, import and deploy the cloud parameter workbook to your cloud builder, and your day zero would be ready. When I say day zero would be ready, your vSphere, your vCenter, your SDDC manager, your NSX, all these components would be ready at the moment. Okay. All right. So cool. What is the prerequisite from network prerequisite perspective? What do we need? We need two Tor. We have to configure VLAN tagging, jumbo frame wherever it's required, DHCP NSX VTAP network, out of band management network. The DNS and NTP is required. DNS maintained all PQR record NTP for time synchronization. Management domain should be powered on. All the basic configuration should be done. And the vSphere bundles, the software bundles primarily for cloud builder and later on for the workload domain and the deployment parameter sheet should be completed. Okay, so the deployment flow is deploy your cloud builder appliance. First, prepare your deployment parameter sheet. Generate a JSON if you want with this. If you want some customization within your default deployment parameter sheet. If you don't want, then keep it as it, and the later on just follow the cloud bring up process. Okay, so very interesting thing is here is how the cloud deployment parameter sheet look like. Cloud deployment parameter sheet, that is something you have to push in your cloud builder, right? This is my cloud deployment parameter sheet that you have to push kind of Excel, or you can configure kind of JSON into the cloud builder appliance just to make your management domain cluster stack. Okay, let's have a look how the cloud builder appliance look like. Okay, so this is my deployment parameter sheet. So this cloud deployment parameter sheet could be different with the different parameters. It's all matter the version it is you are deploying with. All right, so let's have a quick look how it's look like. Okay, introduction is what it's showing you. It have the multiple tabs: credentials, host and network, deployment parameter sheet. Under the credentials tab, you have to fill all the details with your passwords that you are using. So whatever the policy follow, you could see here. So if you will put it here, it will automatically show you according to the policy. You have to fill all the credentials details here, whatever policy is following up. So by default these all password will be implemented, right? So in this way we will be filling up all the passwords. Then the next tab here is the host and network. Under the host and network segments, first of all it's asking you the management network. These are the sample values. You have to fill the actual value, management network, the port group name, and the details of your VLAN and MTU. Same way for vMotion network, same way for vSAN network. Then next, about the host detail, by default the deployment parameter sheet support for node configuration, but if you want to go beyond that, you have to convert it into JSON by using a cloud builder appliance. then you can make the customization, or later on you can expand your cluster. Just start with 4. These are the sample value. Again, these are the IP address detail, vmotion start ip and ip, vsen start ip and ip. And during the deployment, if you want to validate the thumbprint, click it yes. But here you have to export the thumbprint value from your ESXi host locally and paste the value here. If you don't want to validate the thumbprint during the validation, just put it no, it will not ask you. Okay. Then the host overlay network, using DHCP, what it's telling you, like kind of the what would be the host overlay IP addresses. That's primarily reference with the tap interface. Okay. Or if you want to define a static IP pool here, you can define the static IP pool for your host overlay segment, the tunnel endpoint interface IP addresses. But if you have configured the DHCP in your environment, just click this option no, and it will be getting the IP addresses from the DHCP. Okay, so the next tab is for the components you need to be communicate, the deployment. This section is showing us the DNS detail, the license key for vSphere. So again, if I will select it yes, the subscription base, if you will go with the subscription based license, so here it will not ask you any key. But if you will pick it no, then it means you have to fill your license details. Same way, your vCenter fully qualified domain name IP, the size of your vCenter on the basis of environment you are configuring, the cluster name, the vSAN data store name. If you want to enable dedupe and compression during the build, you can enable it. Your custom improvisation program, your DNS detail. So these all the kind of details you have to fill with your deployment parameter sheet. These are some mandatory resource pool that is being created, but if you want to rename it as per kind of your different naming convention, you can put the different naming convention as well. Okay, then the NSX details. NSX will be deployed with kind of load balancer, and three appliance would be there. This is the appliance side, and HTDC manager details. Okay, so these all kind of details you have to keep the ready within your deployment parameter sheet. It should be pretty much match with your environment that you are going to build as kind of VCF. Okay, now I'll jump you to a quick demo how we'll deploy. Just a simulated. This is just a simulated demo for that. So what you have to do is, I've just opened a quick lab where you can start. It's a kind of simulation based demo only, but just for your review purpose. What we need to do here, any of the environment where you have deployed ESXi earlier, you will just browse that, and from there you will deploy the cloud builder appliance, a cloud builder appliance that you can download from the VMware site itself. And yes, you have to give the necessary details which is required to deploy this appliance. Okay, so this is just an cloud builder appliance I am going to deploy. This is just a simulated demo where you have to fill all the details, but for further details you have to go kind of the detail guide from where you will get the actual parameter what you need, as this is the simulated based demo. Once your cloud builder appliance will get deployed, what you need to do is just click here and just power it on. Once it will get power on, click plus, and you have to just browse the cloud builder appliance. Inside the cloud builder appliance, you have to put the credential whatever you have given during the installation time. Then click next. Here it's matter like if you have the Dell EMC VxRail, select this option you are deploying. If you not, you have to select the top one option. Click here, click next. Yes, these all prerequisites you have to read out. Click next. Then here is the deployment parameter sheet. However, the deployment parameter sheet you can directly download from the site itself, but if you want to download from here, you can download and you can just fill the details whatever I have just show you. Okay, complete the deployment parameter sheet, select the file. Once you have the fill deployment parameter sheet, select it, open it, and just next. And after some time it will do the level of validation, and once validation will get successful for all the component, you'll click next and deploy the SDDC. So it's a matter of 2 to 3 hours, your entire SDDC will get deployed. Once your SDDC will get deployed, then it will looks like kind of the environment like You can log in with your vCenter, with your VCF environment, with your NSX environment. So yes, this is what it is showing you, the kind of all the details which are being successfully deployed. The entire process takes 3 to 4 hours time typically. Okay, so it is just for the demo purpose. It is just a simulated base lab. Once you will finish it, launch the SDDC manager console. Your SDDC manager console will looks like this, and further you will talk about all the tabs. Don't worry about that. Further, you can log in into the vCenter server environment, where you can see the management network will get created, okay, the policies, and further you can create. Yeah, that's how we can deploy. It's pretty easy and pretty quick. Yeah, you have to be little bit uh, careful while you are going to deploy the VCF environment. Now let's come back. So these all components what we need during the deployment of VCF. So now you have understand what you have to do in the cloud builder. Deploy the deployment parameter sheet. Once you will deploy the parameter sheet, it will going to build a software defined stack for you. Within that software defined stack, what all components will be deployed there. It will deploy your SDDC manager, vCenter, and if in case you are deploying that part in VxRail, then there would be the VxRail manager as well as an appliance. As I said earlier, all my ARIA shoot or kind of workload domain. ARIA shoot again a optional that we have to deploy later as a kind of day one operation. Okay, from onboarding perspective, what you need to do is kind of for further kind of post deployment, we could say we have to enable the backup configuration in my SDDC manager and include identity manager kind of active directory, and connect the online depot. When I say the online depot, where you are downloading all installation and the upgradation bundle further for deploying the workload domain or maybe the ARIA lifecycle manager. So these are some of the mandatory tasks you have to perform just post building the management cluster. Okay, so the VCF operation, pretty much interesting thing. What you can do into the VCF console using the SDDC manager. We will see kind of a demonstration here. I'll be jumping into the VCF lab directly, and I'll show you what all the options are available in the SDDC manager, what you can perform. But before that, I would like to cover a couple of more slides. The VCF lifecycle management is pretty interesting thing. So lifecycle management means is how you can upgrade the overall stack, your SDDC manager, your vCenter, ESXi, NSX, and the ARIA shoot lifecycle manager that we refer as VDLI shoot lifecycle manager also. ARIA shoot is from like ARIA shoot lifecycle manager, the same thing. So ARIA or it could be the VDLI shoot lifecycle manager. And further this VRLCM like ARIA shoot lifecycle manager, we have to upgrade rest of the component, kind of workspace one, kind of your VRA, your visualize operations, your visualize log inside, that all being taken care further by your ARIA shoot lifecycle manager. Okay, but before that we have to all install or kind of download all the bundles within my SDDC manager. So what kind of bundles are primarily available? One is upgrade bundle, one is install bundle. Install bundle we refer as just for the fresh installation, kind of realize shoot installation or the workload domain cluster installation. For that we want kind of the vCenter server or NSX binaries, or when we are going to deploy any VI workload domain, and if in case we are going to deploy kind of ARIA shoot, we require the ARIA shoot lifecycle manager bundle. So these all are the example of the installation bundle. When we say the upgrade bundle, the upgrade, for an example, today you are on VCF 5.0, tomorrow you are planning to move on VCF 5.2, maybe other than that, then you have to download all the bundles within your SDDC manager, okay, by directly enabling the internet or the proxy configuration, or the other way you can download the bundle offline by using the bundle transfer utility offline with any of the Windows server or maybe the Linux server, and later on you can push all the bundles into the SDDC manager and you can use that. Okay, so what is the sequence? When we talk about sequence within the management domain, which component and how we should go for the upgradation. First, you will upgrade the SDDC manager and its internal services. Then ARIA shoot lifecycle manager. This is the second. Again, how? It's an optional. When I say optional, it means that if it is installed, then you have to. If it's not, then you can skip. Okay, it's matter like if it's get deployed in your environment already. Then NSXT, then vCenter, then ESXi. When it comes to workload domain, first you will upgrade NSX, then vCenter, then ESXi. So with the VRLCM, if you have deployed the rest after upgrading the we realize shoot life cycle manager, or I will refer as ARIA shoot life cycle manager. You have to further upgrade all of your component like workspace one, VRA, VROps, ARIA shoot, or VRLI. Another word we say is workspace one, ARIA automation, ARIA shoot for operations, ARIA operations, and the another word is ARIA operations for log. Okay, so it's matter like what kind of shoot we have deployed. That's the way how it's going to be. This is the sequence. Okay, so with VRLCM we can go in parallel for upgrading these components. The only thing when we are upgrading the workspace one upgradation, we have to take care. We should not access all these components if these being integrated with the workspace one primarily. Okay, that's the upgrade process. When we say the VCF troubleshooting, the troubleshooting part, again, as we discussed in pretty beginning, supportability and serviceability is the tool for upgrading. Okay, so for upgrading for any kind of troubleshooting or checking the health. So a number of parameters are available that we have to go into SDDC manager command line. Then the path is opt VMware SDDC support SOS health check. Under the health check, we'll get the multiple parameters: my NTP, DNS health, service certificate health, password health, inventory health. A lot of parameters are available from there. You can check the current health of the environment. Okay, and according to that, you can take the action. Okay, so it's the time. I won't consume too much time for you guys. It's the time to go quickly jump in SDDC manager and see what is there, and how we can perform the kind of daily operations within my VCF environment. Okay, so I'm jumping into the Cloud Foundation lab. So just allow me some seconds. So it's pretty simple. Like you have to just log in into the Cloud Foundation lab. Then from there I can show you all. I was logged in earlier, but unfortunately the page get lost. Sorry for that. So I have to log in back. The main purpose for this demonstration to quickly walk through you guys for the all kind of available options, what all things are available inside the Cloud Foundation stack. Okay, all right, so one concurrent simulation. Just allow me some time, guys. I think I already logged into the lab, but unfortunately I'm not able to see. Is it the another pop-up I could see somewhere? No. Is it? No. Okay, let me try another. Bear with me for a few more seconds. Yes, it's pretty interesting. Like I have already logged into SDDC Manager console, and Hope you could see my screen. I'm already logged in into the SDDC manager. Inside the SDDC manager, I will quickly step out for all these steps, what is available, right? So just, yes, perfect. It would be much bigger for you guys. So what I could see in the dashboard, under the dashboard of SDDC manager, primarily you could see what all recent tasks been performed, what is the utilization, what kind of solution, the workload in the host types are available. Okay, so if we want to add or new workload domain, from here we would create the new VI workload domain, we can create here. If we want to commission new host, commission means just adding the new hosts. Okay, just adding the new host. From here we can use the commission host tab. Okay, host commissioning means when you are planning for kind of the expanding your cluster, first of all you have to commission your host. At the workload domain section, you could see the available workload domain. You could see here one management workload domain, another you could find the under the same tab if there is another workload domain being created. So now I'll click with the management workload domain. Under the management workload domain, I want to show what is available there. Under the summary, you could see what is my compute size, how it's look like, what is the consumption of my CPU, memory, storage. Under the service section, I could see what all services are available here. It's hosting kind of vCenter. This is my vCenter URL. This is my NSX URL. Under the update section, you would see like any kind of upgrade I want to perform. For that, I should definitely need to go into the update section, update history. If any updates happens in past, you could see here the host, the available host within this cluster, and the management cluster. What is the management cluster name? If there is edge node will get deployed, so the edge details, then the certificate details of my all the available components. When I say all the available components, which all certificate I can upgrade from here, I can manage the vCenter server certificate, SDDC manager certificate, and my NSX manager certificate from the certificate console. However, the ESXi certificate can't manage through SDDC manager. ESXi certificate been taken care by the VMCA or the external CA that I have to generate and upgrade the certificate, kind of individual for the individual ESXi host. Okay, all right, so upgrading certificate, very important thing is, first of all, if you are using third party CA, you have to go in security section, certificate authority. Under the certificate authority, you have to register the certificate authority. What kind of certificate authority it support? It support Microsoft CA, it support the OpenSSL, where OpenSSL is the build CA of your SDDC manager. Okay, then next tab is your host status. It will show you the all available host, unassigned or assigned host. Where unassigned host, where if I commission any host and I have not assigned to any cluster, that will be shown under the unassigned. Where assigned host will be assigned host by default. If I will unassign kind of any host, I will be moving outside from any cluster, that would be under the category of again unassigned host. Well, let's see in the lifecycle management. Under the lifecycle management, before lifecycle management, first of all, what you need to do, under the administration task online depot, you have to register yourself with the VMware account altogether. If you are using Dell EMC VxRail, there would be another tab. Then you have to give the partner account name so that you can sync up with the available online bundle depot, so that you can easily download and upgrade the setup. Okay, then release versions. Under this, you will see all the available next release versions from the previous version to the current version, and then from this section you will pick the upgradation. Under the bundle management, it will show you all the available bundles here. It will show you the download history. As I say, bundle management could be online or offline. When it is online, your SDDC manager should access internet directly, or if in case proxy you want to configure, you can configure proxy as well, or you can download your bundle by BTU bundle transfer utility locally. Then further you can upload into SDDC manager altogether. Okay, so if there is some image that you want to use, a custom image from your vCenter server, then further you want to upgrade your your workload domain, you can just import the image, a custom image from your vCenter. Under the administration tool, the first tab is administration. Under the administration, first tab is network setting. In network setting, we have to get the network pool. The network pool is pretty much important when you are expanding your management domain, or if in case you want to make new VI workload domain with the kind of storage, what type of storage you want to choose. You have to give all the details, kind of vMotion, kind of vSAN network. Okay, so it's matter like what kind of environment you want to create, but before that you definitely need the kind of the network pool details. Like for an example, you want to make one more workload domain with your vSAN vMotion, then you have to give two details here along with this. For this particular pool, what would be the NTP setting, what would be the DNS setting, you have to configure. Storage setting, if we want to give an external storage as a kind of secondary storage, we have to give the VASA details, the storage provider detail. Under the licensing section, it will cover all the license, like what kind of license you have to use it, or if in case you are using subscription base, you have to give the subscription detail only. Single sign-on, when we say single sign-on, by default, a management domain is registered with, by default, your single sign-on will create it is a vSphere.local that you have created during the cluster creation. Then proxy setting, under proxy setting, if you want to enable proxy, and you have to give the proxy details. When I say proxy details, if your SDDC manager need to be downloaded. Online depot, that I told you, like you have to register yourself with your account just to download all the package, all the bundle. Composable infrastructure, where you want to introduce kind of HP synergy environment, that you have to do that. Virtualize suite, if you want to deploy the Virtualize Suite Lifecycle Manager, here first you will deploy Virtualize Suite Lifecycle Manager from here. That will take in care of the installation for further component like your workspace one, operations, login site, and the ARIA automation. The next tab is backup. Under the backup configuration, you have to just configure the SFTP server for the backup purpose, and you have to give all the details for related to your kind of the backup environment. Okay, the backup is something you have to configure a backup server here. You have to give all the details for the backup. What it will do, it will automatically push your configuration on the basis of schedule you have created for your SDDC manager and NSX to respective SFTP server. This is your customer experience improvement program. If you want to enable it, you can enable it. Then further, for password, under the security, there's two section. Password, under the password, what we can do, we can select a specific type of component. We can rotate the password or rotate now. When you see here, there's three options. Rotate now, it will immediately rotate the password. When you will rotate the password, it will create a random password that you can see within the STDC manager PowerShell console by running the command password lookup. Just log in into the putty session. Update, you can update the password as per your desire. Remediate, like for an example, you have just changed your password locally from ESX IV Center and NSX console, right? But here it's not sync up with. So what you have to do, click on remediate. Under the remediate session, you just give the same password what you have changed locally, so that the same password can be updated within your STDC manager. Okay, hope it's clear. Rotate, then update whatever the password you want to give, you can give locally, but when you will click in rotate particular component, it will create a random password that you have to generate, that you have to see SDDC manager locally. If you password age and all, by default it's follow the default password age policy that is being configured by the vSphere. The certificate authority, what I said, like if you want to use a third party CA and you want to upgrade the certificate for your vCenter, STDC manager, and SX component, you have to upgrade, you have to give all the details for your CA here. Then only by going to the particular component, like for an example here, in go to management, and you will go to the certificate kind of certificates tab here. And if you want to create or generate any CSR request for any of the component, like for example, if you want to upgrade SDDC, generate CSR, then sign certificate, then install certificate, that only first you have to upgrade, first you have to upgrade your CA details. Under the development center, that's pretty interesting thing. Through the development, whatever the task you are seeing here, the whole task can be performed through the API Explorer. So there is lot of APIs are available here. So you have to go a little bit deeper. What you have to understand, like if you want to see the credential, click on get, give the details. So there are many commands. Whatever the tasks you are performing through all these can be performed through the development center as well. Well, guys, that's it for this demo. Hope you have enjoyed this demonstration. Again, don't forget me to write back for your feedback, to subscribe this channel. And yeah, we are coming soon with the details training that we are talking about in details, kind of the VMware Cloud Foundation. If anyone of interested kind of more webinar, just feel free to write us back on nextgencf@gmail.com, and please don't forget to subscribe and the level of kind of notification you should get on timely. Thanks for watching. Have a good day ahead.